Thank you so much for joining. Let's chill a bit. Happy Sunday. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining. Happy Sunday. Okay, so we couldn't, I don't know, this cuckoo. Hi, thank you so much for joining. Can you hear me? Please say something. Okay. Ouch. Okay, I'm trying to wait a bit. Okay, so let's get straight into it, shall we? Happy Sunday, guys. Thank you so much for joining. If this is your first time on my live session, my name is Damilola Glovion. I help couples enjoy marriage and guide singles in preparing for a fulfilled married life. Yes. Okay, so today is our 7th, if I'm correct, book series session. Yeah, we couldn't come live last week. I was engaged in something else, so I just couldn't manage that time, so we shifted it to today. And I know Sunday, but yeah, we have to do the Lord's work. Thank you so much for joining. Please like the live and say something so I can acknowledge your presence. Okay, today, children in the home. So because today is Sunday, I do not want this to take so long, just a couple of minutes, let's say 30 minutes max, so that we can be done and then go enjoy our Sunday evening. Okay, all right, so children in the home. Let's read. Psalm 127 rather, verse 3. Lo, children are a heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. Second text, Proverbs 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Please say something in the comments. I can see that there are people on this live. Say hello, say hi, say something. Okay. Okay, let me do a quick poll. All right, hi, Alejo. Is it Alejo or I don't know. I don't want to ruin your name, but thank you. Thank you for joining. Okay, so let's start. Children are gifts and blessings from the Lord. When God blessed man to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth in Genesis 1 verse 28, yeah, the expectation was for God to obtain godly seeds through man. That's Malachi 2:15. So I will not be going into the scripture, but I will be reading them out in case you want to go check them out. Okay, all right. So the fall of man has distorted the great plan, and thereafter man began to bring forth children after the likeness and nature of the fallen Adam and Eve in Genesis 5 verse 3 and Psalm 51 verse 5. To take us back to the beginning, there is the need to train up the children in the only way, which is Jesus Christ. The only way to train up a child is the way of the Lord, right? So they are telling us in this book that children are supposed to grow up in the way of the Lord, but because at the beginning, the first Adam fell, right, in the Garden of Eden, right, and because of that, children now behave like that, so to speak, right? So you would wonder how a small child, a child would be, wicked or self-centered, towards their peers, and then you'll be wondering, how did this child become this, or where did this child learn this? They're telling us in this book that children took after the fallen Adam, right? But initially, or what God meant is for children to be like Jesus, right? So that's the reason for this topic, that children are supposed to be brought up in the way of the Lord. So parents need to be intentional about bringing up their children in the way of the Lord, right? Okay, let's continue. So the next subheading, laying the foundation. So number one, relationship between husband and wife. Both must love God. Love for God is foundational because it puts us in touch with the source of love. 1 John 4:8. Yes, because for you to bring up a child in the way of the Lord, you must first love God. Both parents must love the Lord, right? You must understand the love of God and the love for God for you to be able to bring up your children in the way of the Lord. Okay? Next point is loving each other. A child who grows up with the realization that his parents are lovers has a wonderful basis for stability. You would agree with me, right, that children who are brought up with love, children who see their parents being, love, they love upon themselves, they love each other, they kiss each other, they hug each other, those children tend to become better adults, so to speak, right? Unlike children who they do not have parents at all, or they have parents who are not together, or they have parents who do not love each other, right? So that's what they're telling us in this book, that laying the foundation of bringing up your children in the way of the Lord. Number one, parents must love the Lord. Number two, parents must love each other. Because when you see that, when a child sees that his parents or our parents love each other, they will emulate that. They grow up in love. They grow up with love. When you see a child that is properly loved, when they go outside, you see it in them. You get my point, right? Yeah. Hi, Anu. Thank you so much for joining. I can see you. Thank you so much for joining. I don't want to take so much of our time today, so that's why I'm rushing, so that we can finish under 30 minutes. Thank you for joining, darling. Please like the live. Thank you. Okay, so number two, proper planning. Seek the face of God and pray through concerning the children that will be born in your union, right? You need to, like I mentioned before, it takes proper planning. You get, for you to bring up your children in the way of the Lord, you need to be intentional. Parenting is intentional. There are some parents that don't care; they will just give birth. I saw somewhere where they say some people just give birth. They just give birth. They don't care. They don't take care of their children. They just give birth for giving birth's sake. But some people are true mothers, like a mom. The difference between a mother and a mom, yes, and a father and a dad, yeah, it's like a father. Anybody can father a child, right? But a dad, you love your child. You bring your child up in the way of the Lord. You cater to them. You go out of their way to ensure that your children are good, right? And similarly, as the mom, anybody can be a mother. Anybody can be a mother, but not everybody can be a true mom, right? I hope you guys understand the analysis. Okay, So they said the next point, they said you should determine through prayers the number and sex of children you want and their spacing, right? That's what they talk. That's what they're talking about. That when you are being intentional, you pray to God about it. You ask God, okay, God, how many children, or how many children do you want us to have, or both of you should agree. Oh, this is the number of children we want. I've seen it in weddings when they want to cut cake, right? The MC will ask like, how many children do they want the couples want to give birth to? They start from a high number, right? You say like 20, 16, 10, 5, then the number of children the couples want, then they now cut the cake. That's interesting to see because these couples, they've thought about it, they've spoken about it, and they've come to agreement that okay, they want to have this particular number of children. Okay. All right, they say you should consider how you are going to take care and nurture them. That's so you don't just fall pregnant by mistake. You get pregnant, you properly plan for them. The last book session where we talk about pregnancy, right, and birth of a child, we talked about it that when the moment you know that you are married, you know that you want to, and you've already agreed with your spouse that you are going to have children. You know, some people get married and they be like, oh, they don't want to have children. Some people are like that, but some people get married and they know that, oh yeah, we are married, and they want to recreate or have children. Okay, so the moment you've agreed with your spouse that you want to have children, you need to start planning. You need to plan towards it, right? So it doesn't come at you as a surprise that, oh, your child needs something and you can't provide, right? So you must plan to cater to them and to nurture them. All right. Okay, so couples must agree on what they want to, on when they want to start raising children. In this book, they said that they advise that they should start immediately after the wedding, right? But personally, I feel like, personally, I feel couples should also talk about it. Some people get married and they don't want to start having children immediately, right? Some people want to properly plan it, right? That, okay, yes, we are married, and we want to give it like a year or two before we start giving birth so that we can plan properly, right? But as a couple, right, you need to understand what works for you. You need to know, both of you need to talk about it, right, and agree together what works for you. Okay. All right. Yes, Alejo, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, please subscribe before you go. Thank you for joining. Thank you. All right, so next subheading, child development. Okay, so the first point under child development is the infancy. So infancy is from age 0 to 1. They say you should start. Is my network bad? Okay, I think I'm back. Can you guys hear me? I know, are you still here? Can you hear me? Start to give attention right before. Start to give attention right from when you discover you are pregnant, right? An infant can relate to love, laughter, and life as well as a person can at older age. Yeah, they're telling us to relate with infants from 0 to 1 year old, right? That's they can relate to love, they can relate to laughter and life as well. So you need to start engaging them from that age. Even some people start talking to their babies from the womb, when the baby is still in the womb, right? That they can hear you. You can start talking to them. They hear your voice. They understand. I've heard a story of this woman. She plays a particular song when she was pregnant, right? And when she gave birth to her baby, there's a way the baby relates to the song when the mother plays the song, because the baby has heard the song. Like it seems like the baby is familiar with the song, right? So they're telling us from here that even from age 0 to 1, you should start relating, speaking to your baby from that age, right? They said at age 0 to 1, you should respond to their smiles, their giggle, train them, e.g. toilet training, adult speech, and simple courtesy. Yes, that I've read it somewhere with that Parents should speak to their children, like talk to your child like you're talking to an adult. Don't be saying blah 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 all those do. Speak, open your mouth and speak. They hear you, they understand. Like even if you feel like they don't understand, they will learn. They will, as you're speaking to them, they would understand what you're talking to them about, right? That's how they learn. Children at that little age, they're starting to develop, their brain is starting to develop. So at that small age, you need to start and putting in them what you want them to learn. I've seen stories about all these people abroad that their children at age 2, age 3, they are swimming, they are playing the guitar, they have one thing or the other that they are doing, and they are very young at that little age. Is here in our side that will be like, oh, maybe the baby is too young to do so and so, but no, you need to start as quickly as possible. Okay, they said here that you should personally take care of your children. Do not leave them to house helps and nannies. Create time for your babies. I understand that, yeah, sometimes parents need to work to provide for the family, right? But then again, don't put your baby's care solely on a nanny, right? Create time for your baby, create time for your children, spend time with them. Okay, all right, so number B rather, childhood. We talked about infancy, that's 0 to 1. Then childhood is from age 1 to age 6. It said you should encourage them to crawl, stand, or this is when children start to crawl, stand, and form words when they are ready. So you can imagine when you started talking to them, saying things to them like an adult, they pick it when they are 2, 3. You realize that what they are saying makes sense, right? What they are saying, they are trying to speak, they are trying to say what you are saying. I've seen videos of parents saying, or say mama, say dada, right? And they say it, they tell you, they respond and they tell you not dada, mama, right? I've seen one interesting reel that the mother, she was documenting it, that she telling the baby to say mama, say mama, say mama, and the baby tried to say the mama. The baby is still very young, right? So don't ignore or overlook or think that when a baby is small they can't hear you or they don't understand. Speak to your baby as though you're talking to an adult. Yeah, so true. Nanny can be scary at times. Yes, I'm telling you, I've heard different stories, series of stories about nannies. It's very scary, and I understand, right, that sometimes couples need to go out, work and do something, and they need to get a nanny. So before you get a nanny, you sincerely need to pray about it, like put it in the hands of God, that God will, this person that I want to give my child to, let this person have the mind of God, let this person have the spirit of God in them, so that they can cater to your child very well when you are absent. Because some nannies okay, all right, so where were we? So childhood, set an example of patience, right? Free expression and acceptance. Discover the things they like to do and build on them. Exactly what we just talked about. If you realize that your child is good at one instrument, just start teaching them. They can sing. Start buying all this stuff for them. Let them practice, let them sing, let them swim. I've seen a 5-year-old or 3-year-old. She's a fantastic swimmer, Jesus. And I've been like, how old? When did they start teaching? Was this child learning from the womb? No, it was when the baby came to the world that the parents started teaching her how to swim, started going for lessons. There's a video online. There's one woman, she has started teaching her baby how to cook. The baby is about 18 months, and then she will hold his hand. Thank you, welcome back, Alejo. I'm grateful. The mom will hold the baby's hand, right, and they cook together. She puts everything in and gives him the whisk and tell him to whisk egg. It's so interesting to see, right? What's the name of the page? Is it Oli? Chef Oli and mom. You guys need to see that. Page. Very interesting. And the baby is just 18 months and he's already cooking with his mom, right? And that's what we are saying. Catch them young, start teaching them, instilling them the way of the Lord, instilling them those skills, so that when they grow up, they will not depart from it. Okay, let's move quickly. Where were we? All right, so number 2, late child No, we talked about infancy, we talked about childhood, now late childhood and preteen. That's from age 7 to 12. They said a lot of time and energy is spent by the child in this environment, in the environment outside the home. When children are at this age 7 to 12, right, they develop a growing desire to belong to a social group outside the family, right? A balance needs to be struck between home and the outside world. Even when the immediate family relationship is healthy, children need the chance to develop an identity that is partly independent of the family. Comparisons are constantly being made in the child's mind between what is seen to be true at home and in the outside world. Exactly. This age, this preteen, that's when you see that, oh, I'm going to my friend's house, my friend's mom said this, my friend said that. They want to belong to a group. They want to have, that's when they start having peers, they start having friends, right? And they are aware. That's when they want to start doing what their friends are doing. Oh, mom, can I go spend the night with this person? Can I go for a hangout with this person? At that age, they are aware. So they are saying that you must be able to strike a balance between what you teach your children in the home and what they are taught outside. Okay, so they say healthy interaction and honest communication between parents and child is vital during the child's comparison of the values seen operating at home with those elsewhere. Preteens are able to begin to tie together the past, present, and the future. Exactly. You must be able to communicate honestly with your child, because they are hearing things outside, they are learning things outside, right? So what they are learning outside, they will bring home, or you will realize that, where did this child learn this thing from, right? So you should be able to communicate honestly with them. You need to be able to talk to them about things, let them understand that yes, they are doing this in your friend's house because that's their values, that's what they were taught to do. But this is this house, this is our house, this is what we do here. Okay, so you need to instill all of these values and beliefs in your own child before they go outside, so that outsiders will not instill what you don't want to instill in your child for you. Okay, all right. So number 3 is teenagehood. That's from 13 to 19. I'm trying to move fast so that we can finish quickly. All right. So teenagers need the security and support of the family. Therefore, communication becomes even more crucial for a healthy relationship. Association and relationships, including those maintained with parents, are voluntary. Teens in healthy environments would desire and seek guidance, security, and even a certain measure of control from the more mature adults in their lives. They voluntarily follow people they have come to respect. Exactly. Then they said that here that authoritarianism did I pronounce that well? Authoritarianism. Yeah, that's it. Authoritarianism becomes physically impossible to enforce. As a result, parents need to be attentive spiritually. Yes, when your child is between 13 and 19, there's a limit to how you can say, oh, sit there, oh, don't go here, oh, why did you do this? Because they are teenagers, right? They want to question your order. They want to, mommy, why are you telling me to sit? Daddy, why are you telling me not to go be friends with this person? If you're telling your child, I don't want you to go to this place, they'll be like, mommy, why? You need to now you need to communicate well. You need to explain to them why. You need to start talking to them, even better, and explain to them your reasons, what you have seen, right? And they are saying here that you need to be attentive. You need to be attentive spiritually, right? You need to be able to train them spiritually too, for you to also know, because at this age, some of them add things, some of them don't even tell you things, they don't even go fully into what they're experiencing in school or with their friends or with other adults, right? That's why you cannot do parenting alone. You need to be spiritual about it. You need to be spiritual. You need to take it seriously. You need to be intentional about it. Okay, all right. Yeah, effective communication, example, and trust becomes more important than ever before, right? You need to effectively communicate with your child. You need to be trustworthy, right? You can't be telling your child something and you're doing the other thing, because they will start asking questions, or somebody outside is not telling you that, oh, your mom is this or your father is this, yada yada yada. We do not want that. Okay, all right. Okay, they said, note, the major problem of teenagehood is the peer pressure, is the peer group pressure. Parents need a lot of wisdom and God's leading to handle this. Yeah, we just touched on that. This stage, there's a lot of peer pressure. There's a lot of, oh, my friend is doing this. There's a lot of, my friend is wearing this. There's a lot of, my friend is going to this party. Or my friend has this hair on. My friend, a lot of peer pressure. So you need guidance even from God as a parent to be able to teach them and lead them well. Okay? All right. They said 10 ways to help your children. Number 1, let them know they are special and unique. Right? Reassure them if they are worried about their physique. Here they are still growing, some of them may be chubby, some of them may be lanky, right? And they see their friends that their friends look different. Some of them have short hair, some of them have thick hair, some of them are dark skinned or light skinned. They'll start asking, they'll start comparing themselves with their friends, that, oh, my friend has this, I don't have that. Mommy, why don't I have this, or why don't I have that? You get. So you need the wisdom of God to be able to help your children to grow well. All right, teenagers must be loved unconditionally, of course. Always have time to discuss with them. We mentioned that. You need to create time to discuss with your children. They need to trust you, so that they can tell you things. Assist them to build that self-respect and self-discipline. Reward them with compliments. A child that is praised will not bother about peer pressure. Exactly. So one random person outside will not be telling your child another thing or a different thing, or be lying to your child. You get my point, right? So give them all of these things even at home before they go out. Or when they go out, they will not miss all these things, because it's what they get at home. We talked about children that are being raised in a healthy family, in a family that they are loved, right? They turn out differently. They don't lack it. No uncle or one random stranger, one random teacher at work is telling them that, oh, I will give you this, or you are this, or you are that, or you are beautiful. Do you know you are beautiful? Of course they know, because mommy and daddy tell them every day, right? Okay. All right, it says you should teach your children sex education, answer their questions, teach them to preserve their bodies. I'm glad that now in this era, parents do sex education. You need to teach them sex education even at home before they go out, so that another person will not teach them what is not, and then while they are teaching them, they're not telling them to practice it, or they're not practicing it with them. Okay, you need to teach your children sex education. You need to teach them and tell them how to speak up when somebody is touching them in a funny way, right? Even as far as one uncle is saying, come and sit on my laps. No, you don't want to sit on any uncle's laps. Teach them early enough. All right? Expose them to Christian living. Discuss the Bible with them. Discourage outings that will not build them up or glorify God. All right? Always pray for your children individually. Involve them in family altar. Right? There should be time for prayers, and they must understand that you need to set out time to pray. You need to set out time for God, right? Okay, so number 4, above 19 years. This is the age, this is the age when your baby is inaugurated into adulthood. He or she becomes relatively self-sufficient and independent. Parents are much more worried about their children during this period, especially their educational achievements, attitude to life, their ambition. Parents, you'll be like, oh, how is this child going to turn out? How is this child turning out, right? You're worried. Are they making the right decisions, right? And all of this now begin to play out based off of what you have instilled in them from the beginning. Not when a child is 19 years, you now want to start training them. No, it's too late. Maybe not too late, but you want to start training a child at 19. Okay, so help them to make firm decisions about their career, and then pray with them continually. Psalm 31 rather, verse 3. Okay. Although sometimes very painful, parents must allow their children to go whenever they are ready. The joy of a parent is to have a big sense of fulfillment at this stage. You can only follow them up daily by committing them to God in prayer. Some parents put their children in I went to a boarding house. Yeah, some parents put their children in a boarding house. Did you go to a boarding school or a day school? I remember every time my mom, anytime it's visiting day, I'm always crying. Or anytime they drop me in school, I'm always crying. I still cried till I was at SS2. I was a senior, but I do not like goodbyes. So some parents put their children in a boarding school. So they say that as parents, you need to put them in the hand of the Lord, because I mean they need to go to school. Some parents, they prefer to take their children to a boarding house. Some parents, they can't take it. They're like, no, no child of mine is going to a boarding house. We grow together, we go to school together, we do all the assignments together. It depends, right? Whatever works for your family, whatever works for your child, you do it. Okay, next subheading: raising godly children. God's purpose is that all children must be taught in the way of the Lord. Yeah, your child must be dedicated to the Lord right from conception. It is imperative that your child be brought to the house of God for formal dedication. Dedicate your children to the Lord before they dedicate your children to somewhere or something. Before they dedicate your child somewhere to something else that is not the Lord. So by yourself, dedicate your child to the Lord. Okay, so the family altar is very vital in raising godly children. Start calling your children to the altar even from the womb. Yes, when it's time to pray, tap your stomach. It's time to pray. You pray together. When they grow up, they will not depart from it. Evangelizing your child, it is the parent's responsibility to ensure that their children have personal testimonies of being born again. Do not assume the salvation of your children. They need to individually accept God, right? Because a father is a pastor, a mother is a pastor, a mother knows God does not mean the child knows God like that. They need to intentionally find God. They need to intentionally give their lives to God, right? I remember when I was going to write common entrance back then, I wanted to go to one school. And I remember praying to God. I knelt down and prayed that, oh God, I want to pass this. Help me to pass this common entrance so that I can go to this school. And then, because I'd seen my mom do it, my mom, she's always going on her knees and praying. Then I tried it and it worked. God answered. I mean, that's like my first testimony as a child, right? Like, or as a teenager, so to speak, and God answered. And that's like, I can never forget that time, in my life, that I remember praying that I wanted to go to this particular school. I wanted to pass the common entrance, right? And God answered, and I did it, and I passed, and I went to that school, right? So that's how I'm trying to say that as parents, don't assume that, because you know God for yourself, that your children automatically knows God. No, put them in the way of the Lord, help them, and let them by themselves also find God, right? Okay. All right, so there is no set formula for evangelizing your child, right? But the following 6 points may be helpful. Number 1, read Bible stories to your children that illustrate being lost and getting saved. Okay, so I'm going to be reading out the Bible passages. You can check them out. Luke 5:4-7. Again, Luke 5:4-7. Luke 15:8-10. Luke 15:8-10. Number 2, use stories to explain sin problems. That's Romans 5:12. Number 3, explain what Jesus accomplished on the cross. That's Colossians 2:14. Again, Colossians 2:14 and John 3:16. All right, number 4, explain that salvation is a free gift that is received by faith. Ephesians 2:8-9. Number 5, allow your child to ask plenty of questions. When you are teaching somebody something, of course, they'll be inquisitive. They'll be like, oh, why did this happen? How did this happen? You need to be able to answer them. Okay. Number 6, lead your child in a simple prayer of salvation, right? But you, as a parent, lead your child to salvation. Let them give their lives to Christ, right? Okay, before they give their life to something else in school or outside. All right. So next subheading, we are almost done. Relating with your children. Parents must understand the fact that no two children are alike. Therefore, you need to ask God for wisdom in relating with each child, right? As adults have different temperaments, so also do children. You remember this chapter we did maturity in marriage, right? You need to understand your child's temperament. Do not compare your kids. You remember we did this temperament in marriage, choleric, sanguine, melancholy, and phlegmatic. Exactly, the children too are like that. They have temperaments. Don't believe that, or yeah, don't believe that your child is, or your children are the same, right? They have different. No two children are the same. Okay. All right. So next subheading: training and discipline your child. A thorough teacher goes a step beyond teaching to training. Parents are called to be trainers, not just teachers. Okay? Training involves supervising and ensuring the application of what has been taught, right? Let them apply it. You've taught them something, let them apply it, let them do it, right? Training helps a child to make the right decisions as they grow. Okay. You train your child by what you have modeled for him or her, right? Children learn by what they see. In fact, majorly by what they see, not what they see you do. It's not even about what you tell them. Like my example now, like my story rather, I said that I'd seen my mom go on her knees to pray. You get, and I did the same thing. That okay, I'm always seeing mommy going on her knees to pray, right? So I did the same thing. I wasn't even one serious prayer. I just knelt down. I remember crying, God, I want to go to this school, please let me pass, because I'd seen her do it, right? So yeah, you need to model for your children what you want them to do. You cannot be telling them to do something and you're doing the direct opposite. You cannot be telling your child not to use foul languages, and then you yourself, you and your spouse, that's what you use in the house. You are using curse words for each other, and then when they use it, you shut them up. No, it doesn't work that way. You need to model it. If you say no curse words in this home, the rule applies to mommy and daddy. Mommy and daddy must not use curse word, because they learn it from mom and they go use it outside. Okay, so whatever it is that you want your child, or how you want your child to turn out to, you model it for them. Okay, a child puts into practice what he or she sees you do. Exactly. Training assists children to confront life's challenges with responsible independence. All right. Now we go to discipline. Children are not naturally self-controlled, but dominated by their impulses, typically acting spontaneously with little thought. Discipline helps children to understand that their boundaries and also teach them. When you discipline a child for something, they remember, they know that, oh, mommy said I should not do this thing. If I should do this thing, this is what is going to happen, right? In discipline, parents must have the following in mind. Number one, motive. Discipline demonstrates love. I'm disciplining this child because you love them. You tell them that I'm doing this, or you are going through this because I want you to be better, right? You need to explain to children. I remember growing up, anytime we do something, before my mom flogs us, she would tell you that I told you to do your assignments before I return, but I met you watching television. She will not tell us, why am I beating you? We will not answer, mommy is beating me because she told me to do my assignment and I was doing something else. Then she will now flog us, or she will tell us to kneel down or go and face the wall. So you understand that you don't just beat a child for anything or nothing, right? Let them understand the reason for the punishment, so that tomorrow when mommy say do your assignments, I know that yesterday I knelt down for minutes or hours, then I'll quickly do my assignment. That's what they're saying. That is the motive, right? Number two, the purpose. God uses the pain of discipline in our life because He wants the best for us, right? That's Hebrews 12, verse 11. Number three, duty. Discipline is not an option for Christian parents, it's a duty. It's a duty. You need to do it. It's a duty that God has given to you, that this child must turn out well. this child that God has given to me, I must be able to answer to him or her. You get, when God asks me about them, it's a duty for you to discipline your child, right? That's, because we see people online, we see people trolling people online, we see people wearing some sort of clothes online, or saying some sort of things online, and be like, who raised you? That's the first question people ask. They be like, who raised you? So that's it. Let people see your children and be like, you were raised by a good parent. I mean, your parent did good with you, right? That's what they're saying, that it's a duty as a parent. Christian children is a duty as a parent for you to discipline your child, so that you'll be able to beat your chest and say, anywhere your child goes, because I have put in the work. You've been intentional about this child, right? All right, so number 4, authority. God has not only given us the responsibility of disciplining our children, he has also given us the authority, right? Number 5, parental control. Discipline ensures parents control over their children. Okay, moving on, areas of attention. To discipline your children. Number 1, honor to father and mother. That's Ephesians 6:1-3. Number 2, respect for elders. Number 3, truthfulness. Tell your children they should not lie, right? Number 4, prompt obedience. They need to be obedient. Number 5, cautious words. Number 6, self-centeredness. Children must not be self-centered. You must teach them that to give. You must teach them. We spoke about it a few minutes ago. You cannot be telling your children not to use curse words at home, and then you yourself, you're using them. Okay. All right. Next, subheading: steps to discipline your child. Number 1, identify the offense. Number 2, explain to the child why he or she is wrong. Number 3, give the appropriate punishment. Number 4, counsel the child in love. Whatever punishment, it could be go to the naughty corner, kneel down. Some spank their children, just little spank. It depends on how old. There are some offenses that is not words, you have to really spank. Okay, so note: do not nag your child, but correct and give instructions. Okay, and give instruction rather. Number 2, do not punish a child when you are angry. Number 3, do not make a child an object of ridicule when disciplining. Number 4, always give the appropriate punishment for the offense committed. Number 5, do not punish a child for not accepting the gospel. All right, next subheading: tips. 9 values for children. Number 1, love and obey God. Children must love and obey God. Number 2, they must love others. Number 3, be honest. Number 4, work hard. Number 5, be committed to your family. Number 6, respect your elders. Number 7, attend church. Number 8, avoid materialism. Number 9, pray and worship. Okay, so spiritual examples of failure to correct one's child. Number 1, Jacob, Genesis 37, Joseph brothers. Number 2, Eli, 1 Samuel 3:13 and 1 Samuel 4:11. Number 3, David, 2 Samuel 13-9. Remember the story of Amnon and Tamar. He raped his sister. He raped his sister, and then he didn't chastise the guy, right? So that's one failure. That's one example of failure to correct your child. You need to correct your child, so that at the end you will not suffer for it, or it will not come back to hurt you or haunt you. That's the right word. When you do not train up your child, it comes back to haunt you. Right? Okay, so in conclusion, we are done. Pray for the grace of God and wisdom to train right, so that we may present our children faultless to God. That's Jude chapter 20. No, Jude 24. There's only one chapter in Jude, so Jude 1:24. Okay, so yeah, that brings us to the end of today's book series session. I hope you've learned a lot. that we should train up our child in the way of the Lord, so that hi darling, you've been silent, I didn't know you were still here. That we should train up our child in the way of the Lord. Okay, thank you darling, thank you so much. All right, I hope we've learned that we should train up our children in the way of the Lord, so that when they grow up, they will not depart from it, so that you can beat your chest wherever your child goes that I did the Lord's work. And when you get to heaven, you'll be able to present your children faultless before God. Okay, thank you so much. Next week we go into family planning in marriage, and I don't know if we should do one chapter per day, but we are almost done with this book. This family planning is a very long topic, and it's very long. Family planning next week by the special grace of God, and then there is in-laws in marriage, then house helps / domestic servants. That's then building on Christ in our homes and family altar, and divorce and remarriage. I think we have 4 chapters to go, and then we finish our first book. That's interesting. It's because we've missed 2 Saturdays. If not, we should have almost covered this. But we have about 4 chapters to go. For next week, I don't know. I think we just do one, because that one is very long. So we just do one, and then we can finish in time. Thank you guys for staying by. Thank you for joining. I wanted to say thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Those that will watch later, thank you so much for joining. Please drop a comment. Please subscribe. Please share. Share with your friends that are parents. Or looking forward to being parents. Share with them. Let us learn. Let us help couples, to bring up their children in the way of the Lord. And then also couples that do not have children yet, they can also plan and prepare, before they have their children. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I love you dearly. I'll see you next week by the special grace of God. Bye-bye. Thank you, Anu. You're still here, right? I love you so much. Do not forget that. Bye, guys.